The roar echoed through the Oakland Coliseum on a warm June night in 2023. Thousands of fans standing shoulder to shoulder, wearing green shirts that read, "Sell." It wasn't just another ball game. This was the reverse boycott, a defiant show of love for the Athletics and anger toward ownership's plan to move the team to Las Vegas. More than 27,000 fans filled the stadium, the largest midweek crowd in years, beating drums and chanting for change. But their passion couldn't stop what was coming. By year's end, MLB owners unanimously approved the relocation, marking the end of over half a century of Oakland baseball. This is the story of how it all fell apart, a saga of broken trust, stadium dreams, and one city's fight to hold on. The Oakland Athletics franchise has a long history of shaky ground with its host cities. Born in 1901 as the Philadelphia Athletics, the team moved to Kansas City in 1955 and then to Oakland in 1968. In their early Oakland years, the A's were wildly successful on the field, winning 3 straight World Series championships from 1972 to 1974. But even that golden era was marked by off-field turmoil. Eccentric owner Charlie Finley, known for penny pinching, slashed budgets and severed broadcast contracts by the late 1970s, driving attendance to record lows. Finley openly tried to relocate the team, exploring moves to cities like New Orleans and Atlanta, until local authorities blocked him and forced a sale to an owner who vowed to keep the club in Oakland. This pattern of success on the field, but battles off of it, would repeat over the years. By the 2000s, the Oakland Coliseum had fallen behind modern ballpark standards. A's owners continually floated new stadium ideas such as Fremont, San Jose, and downtown Oakland, only to see them fail due to political, financial, or territorial roadblocks. In 2018, the team announced an ambitious plan for a waterfront ballpark at Howard Terminal near Jack London Square, a $12 billion development, including a 34,000-seat stadium and surrounding village. For a time, it seemed the A's might finally get the sparkling new Oakland home they craved. But years of negotiations with the city and community dragged on, complicated by the COVID-19 pandemic, disputes over funding, and opposition from maritime businesses at the port. Each missed deadline or stalled vote ratcheted up the pressure, and Major League Baseball's patience was wearing thin. By the start of the 2020s, the relationship between the Athletics ownership and the city of Oakland had become strained to the breaking point. John Fisher, the A's principal owner since 2005, had long insisted that a new stadium was essential for the team's survival in the Bay Area. The Coliseum, which opened in 1966, was outdated and beset with maintenance issues, with MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred bluntly claiming it as not a major league facility. Fisher and team president Dave Cavall spent years pursuing the Howard Terminal Ballpark project, touting it as the best way to keep the A's rooted in Oakland. "From the beginning, I wanted to stay in the Bay Area," Fisher later wrote, noting the ownership group spent 6 years of work and $100 million trying to build at Howard Terminal. City leaders also invested significant effort. Oakland's mayor at the time, Libby Schaaf, and later Mayor Sheng Thao negotiated and secured funding for infrastructure around the proposed site. By mid-2022, the city had managed to clear major hurdles, including an environmental review and even state legislation to help the project. Yet, even as Oakland inched closer to a deal, MLB's patience was running out. In May 2021, frustrated with the pace of progress, league owners gave the A's formal permission to explore relocation options. The A's began making frequent trips to Las Vegas, surveying potential stadium sites as a contingency. Commissioner Manfred warned that Oakland needed to finalize a ballpark agreement soon, or risk losing the franchise. The pressure was on. A clause in MLB's 2022 collective bargaining agreement imposed a hard deadline. The A's had to have a binding agreement for a new stadium by January 2024, or lose revenue-sharing support. As that deadline loomed, negotiations in Oakland stalled over the final details of the Howard Terminal deal. Rising construction and infrastructure costs created a funding gap, and the city and team could not agree on who would cover it. By late 2022, the development agreement still wasn't finalized, and the A's privately began pivoting their focus to Nevada. The turning point came in April 2023. In a surprise late-night announcement on April 19th, the A's revealed they had signed a binding agreement to purchase 49 acres of land near the Las Vegas Strip, a site for a potential $1.5 billion, 30,000-seat domed ballpark. The news hit Oakland like a gut punch. Mayor Sheng Thao, who had been negotiating in good faith on the Howard Terminal project, said she was extremely disappointed, and that the phone call informing her of the Vegas deal was pretty definitive. Thao blasted the A's for walking away from talks, declaring, "It is clear to me that the A's have no intention of staying in Oakland and have simply been using this process to try to extract a better deal out of Las Vegas. I am not interested in continuing to play that game. The fans and our residents deserve better." Her anger reflected a sense of betrayal shared by many in Oakland's government and community. From the city's perspective, they had bent over backwards to accommodate the team. Oakland offered a deal that was fair to the A's and fiscally responsible for our city, Mayor Thau insisted, noting that the city had secured $375 million for project infrastructure and cleared every legal hurdle in the way. The A's, however, insisted that despite a strong and sincere effort to stay, the Oakland project had made little forward progress for some time. In their April 2023 statement, the team claimed to share fans' disappointment that the shared vision of a waterfront ballpark hadn't been achieved. Owner John Fisher later explained that, after the last 6 years of working on keeping the A's in Oakland, the hurdles proved too great. We were unable to get a binding agreement from the city, citing rising infrastructure costs and opposition from port interests as deal breakers. In other words, the franchise felt it had no choice but to look elsewhere before time ran out. Las Vegas, for its part, rolled out the red carpet. Nevada's governor and legislative leaders quickly negotiated a public financing package to lure the A's. By June 2023, in a special session, the Nevada legislature approved $380 million in taxpayer funding toward the new ballpark. The deal would create a special tax district on the Vegas Strip to help pay off stadium bonds, exemplifying the kind of public subsidy Oakland officials had been reluctant to offer. The A's and MLB were delighted. The move positioned Las Vegas, already home to the NFL's Raiders and the NHL's Golden Knights, as the next big sports hub. Plans were drawn up for a gleaming, retractable roof stadium on a 9-acre parcel of land at the Tropicana site, slated to open by 2028. Notably, what the A's accepted in Las Vegas was far smaller in scope than what they had demanded in Oakland. A spokesperson for Oakland's mayor pointed out that the reality is the A's ownership had insisted on a multi-billion-dollar 55-acre project in Oakland that included a ballpark, residential, commercial, and retail space. In Las Vegas, for whatever reason, they seemed satisfied with a 9-acre ballpark on leased land. If they had proposed a similar scaled-down project in Oakland, we feel confident a new ballpark would already be under construction. In other words, Oakland officials believed the A's were willing to settle for far less in Vegas, suggesting the move wasn't purely about Oakland's inability to support the team, but perhaps about leveraging a better deal. Raiders owner Mark Davis even chimed in, blasting the A's for their Las Vegas plans after years of tense coexistence in Oakland. As for Oakland's long-suffering fans, the Vegas announcement was the ultimate betrayal. The Athletics have one of the most passionate but beleaguered fan bases in baseball. A group that has endured fire sales of star players, minimal team spending, and constant relocation rumors. In the wake of the relocation news, that pride manifested in outrage. The grassroots Oakland 68's fan group organized the dramatic reverse boycott on June 13, 2023. The national media took notice of Oakland's fervent send-off. For once, the narrative wasn't that Oakland doesn't support its team, but rather, look what incompetent ownership has done to a loyal fan base. Even opposing players and managers gave props. Tampa Bay's manager Kevin Cash, whose Rays played that night, said, "A's fans are good fans, and in 19, in the wild card game, that was one of the best atmospheres I've witnessed. If it's like that, it should be loud and fun." Las Vegas native and MLB superstar Bryce Harper publicly questioned the move, saying he'd rather see Vegas get an expansion team than steal Oakland's. These sentiments echoed across the baseball world. Oakland's fans, in effect, made their case on that June night, illustrating that poor attendance in recent years was a symptom of ownership's neglect, not a lack of passion. After all, the same fan base had produced wild sellout crowds during playoff games and even a one-game wildcard in 2019. But as 2023 wore on, it became clear that neither the A's ownership nor MLB's top brass were moved by these demonstrations of loyalty. Commissioner Manfred even downplayed the reverse boycott turnout sarcastically as almost an average Major League Baseball crowd in the facility for one night, a tone-deaf remark that only poured salt in the wound for Oakland faithful. By the fall of 2023, the wheels of relocation were fully in motion. In a last-ditch effort, Oakland city officials and Mayor Thau met with Commissioner Manfred to present what they called a concrete proposal and evidence that the city had done everything possible to support a new stadium. It was too late. At the MLB owners' meetings on November 16, 2023, the league's 30-team owners cast their votes on the A's future. The result was a unanimous 30-0 vote approving the Athletics' move to Las Vegas. A's owner John Fisher said in a statement to fans, "We gave every effort and did everything we could to try and find a solution in Oakland." He expressed sadness and even apologized to the community, saying, "To our fans, I am truly sorry. Today is a sad day." Yet, in the same breath, Fisher spoke of hope and optimism for the A's future in Las Vegas. Major League Baseball, through Manfred, tried to frame the relocation as a regrettable but necessary step. "I feel sorry for the fans in Oakland. I do not like this outcome," Manfred remarked before quickly shifting blame onto the city. "The real question is, what is it that Oakland was prepared to do? There is no Oakland offer. At some point, you come to the realization it's just not going to happen." The Oakland mayor's office bristled at that characterization, insisting the city did have a solid offer and had gone above and beyond to clear hurdles for a stadium. But MLB had made its choice. With the Warriors gone to San Francisco in 2019 and the Raiders gone to Vegas in 2020, Oakland now faced the loss of its third and final major pro sports team in just a 5-year span. In practical terms, the franchise's timeline was set. The A's lease at the Coliseum ran through 2024. After that, the A's began play in California's capital, West Sacramento's Sutter Health Park, a AAA stadium, hosting the A's for the 2025 through 2027 seasons until the Las Vegas venue is ready. By 2028, if all goes according to plan, the Athletics will debut in Las Vegas, marking the first MLB relocation in 2 decades and the first American League team relocation since 1972. In the end, the tale of the A's versus Oakland in the 2020s is a somber reminder of how modern sports can leave loyal fans feeling betrayed. Oakland did nearly everything a city could do short of writing a blank check. It approved land, shouldered infrastructure costs, cleared legal hurdles, yet it lost its team to a city offering hundreds of millions in public money. The Athletics ownership, for its part, spent years insisting they tried their best in Oakland, but their actions told a different story. They slashed payroll to the lowest in baseball, traded away every star player, and even raised ticket prices while fielding a non-competitive product. It's hard not to see those moves as a cynical strategy to depress attendance and justify relocation. Fans certainly saw it that way, branding owner John Fisher and his team president as cheapskates more interested in real estate deals than baseball. For Las Vegas, the acquisition of the A's is another jewel in a rapidly growing sports crown. Vegas will get a shiny new ballpark and the prestige of Major League Baseball, but it inherits a nomadic franchise with a tarnished relationship with its fans. Meanwhile, the long-term impact on Oakland is devastating. A city with a rich sports heritage, World Series titles, Hall of Fame players, and a uniquely passionate multicultural fan base has been left with a giant hole where pro sports once lived. Economically, the East Oakland area around the Coliseum faces uncertainty. The Coliseum site may be redeveloped, but the jobs, communal gatherings, and civic pride that came with game days will be hard to replace. At the end of it all, the Athletics will start anew in Las Vegas, but they leave behind a half-century of history and a heartbroken fan base. Those fans undoubtedly deserved better. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching.